This is how to play Blinding Lights by The Weeknd in just 3 ingredients. Let's go. Quick overview is the 3 ingredients. First of all, we've got the verse. Second ingredient is what we're going to do in the chorus. And the third ingredient is the drum fill that happens in the verse and in the chorus. There we go. Let's get stuck in. Ingredient 1 is the verse, and it is just the bass and snare drum. No hi-hats for now, but don't worry, they'll be here in a minute. We have quarter notes on the kick and snare for the first bar, and the second bar some cheeky eighth notes chucked in there at the end. The rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. It's wonderful. Nice and straightforward. If you're counting, there should be no problem. And it sounds like this. You'll see when I play it that I play the snare with my left hand, not with my right or alternating. You can do it that way, it's absolutely fine if it feels comfortable to you, but the reason I would suggest playing the left is because it means when our right hand comes in to play the hi-hat, which it will do soon, it means nothing that you've already learnt has to change. Your bass and snare stays the same, the hi-hat is added in, don't have to relearn too much stuff. So that's why I would suggest it. Ingredient 2 is the chorus. We've already learnt most of it. The bass and snare part is the same as the verse, but we have 2 options for how you want to play this, depending on what you're comfortable with. So we've got quarter notes and eighth notes on the hi-hats, depending on your preference. So the quarter note version, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Those beats 3 and on the bass drum. We've got it written so we have quarter note hi-hats that don't follow the eighth note bass drum pattern. So when we get those 3 and bass drums, we've got it written down that your hi-hat's only going to play on the 3, comes back in on the 4. But if you struggle with that to start with, feel free to just copy the 3 and bass drums with the hi-hat. It'll sound fine still. It's going to sound great. It's fine. It's fine. But I would suggest working towards that little bit of coordination. If you struggle with it at first, it's a great opportunity to get used to improving your hand and feet coordination. So, coordination. So do have it as a goal. Quarter note version sounds like this. The eighth note version is just straight eighth notes over the top, right? If you've got the bass and snare part, these hi-hats should not be a problem to add on the top. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all the way through. So when you get those 2 bass drums at the end, you will have hi-hats with both of them because you've got hi-hats eighth notes, bass drum eighth notes, and they match up. Sounds like this. So that's the verse and the chorus pretty much sorted. Well done. The third ingredient is the fill, and this happens a couple of different points in the song. In the verse, it happens without hi-hats. So what we're going to do is carry on the bass, snare, 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern, but in the second bar we get 2 offbeat snare drums on the 3 and 4 and. So that second bar is going to be counted 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. So notice how I'm counting on the beats so that you know where the rests are rather than just counting 1, 2, 3 and. Make sure you count that 4 in the gap as well. Optional option is to add a hi-hat with those snare drums to give it a little bit more punch. Yeah, it sounds like this. In the chorus though, if you feel up to it, we can play that same fill but with whichever version of hi-hat pattern you've chosen. Quarter notes or eighth notes will be the same through the first bar and a half. And on the 3 and 4 and, you just copy the snare with the hi-hat like we tried in the last one. Okay, so you're basically just adding in whichever hi-hat pattern you chose. This is the version that happens during the chorus, sort of when it goes back to the beginning, loops the chorus, goes back to the beginning. That's when you'll chuck this in. And it sounds like this. So to recap, we have ingredient 1, the verse. Ingredient 2, the chorus. And ingredient 3, the fill. And that's how you play Blinding Lights by The Weeknd in just 3 ingredients. Well done.